Hey there. I apologize. It's been a long day. I've been working outside and didn't have a chance to answer this question, and I told you I would. So the question is, why do we have to pay for Adam and Eve's original sin as we didn't ask to be here and we were born into it? Okay, so let's start with the ugliness of sin. Okay, part of what makes sin so ugly and detestable and sinful and awful is the fact that innocent people pay for what guilty people have done. Okay, so here is just another example of, technically speaking, we were born innocent to some degree, although people argue about original sin and we were born with original sin. The words original sin are never in the Bible. Okay, that is not in the Bible anywhere. That is a doctrine that has been made up that says that we are all born into sin and we're all sinners. Regardless, somebody else made the mistake and we are paying for the mistake, and that is how sin works. If someone murders, if somebody steals, if somebody rapes, if somebody molests a child, in all those cases and in many more, if somebody slanders, then an innocent person pays for what the guilty person has done, for what the sinner has done. And that is part of what makes sin so ugly. So that is a part of the answer to your question. The other part is this: we're not sinless. We are not guiltless. Nobody has forced me to sin ever in my life. I have seen the opportunity and I have done it, because here's the difference, okay? I think a lot of people think that sin is a mistake. Like, oops, I did my math problem wrong, or I stumbled and fell, or I didn't have all the information and therefore I messed up. Sin is a deliberate disobedience of a known law, okay? So Adam and Eve weren't responsible for a lot of the things that we are responsible for, because that wasn't even a thing for them and they weren't aware of it. It wasn't something they were told to do or not to do. However, they were told not to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And they did it, okay? And that was their sin. Now, we have so many more sins than just that. And therefore, we are guilty of our own sin. Now, has sin been done to us? Yes. We are in a mess. We are in just a cesspool of sin where people have sinned against us and we've sinned against other people, and the cycle continues and there seems like there is no escape, okay? And it's frustrating, and since the beginning of time, we've wanted to blame somebody else for our predicament, okay? When God came to Adam and Eve, he came to Adam first because Adam was the man, and he said, "What'd you do?" And he goes, "Oh, the woman that you gave me, she made me do it." And he's like, And then he went to Eve and he goes, "What's up?" And she goes, "Oh, the snake. The snake made me do it." And it's like, okay, all y'all's is going to get some punishment. You understand? Long-lasting ones. And here's what the punishments were, just as a recap real quick. The serpent, okay, that deceived us has to crawl on his belly for all of his days and eat dust. And he will strike at our heel and we will crush his head, okay? We will be at enmity, we will be enemies with snakes throughout all of time. Now, the women have to have pain in childbirth, and obviously they have a painful period every month, and that is also unpleasant. And it says, "You will long for the man, but he will rule over you." Okay, and then men, we have to work all the days of our life. We have to sweat and toil, and we will work among briars and thorns and rocks and all kinds of things, and that is how we will have to eat. Okay, and that is our punishment. Which, whether you like it or not, that's where we're at, okay? We can take that with a smile, or we can grumble and complain the whole time. Either way, that's where we are. So that is one of your questions. Now, the other part of the question, if you guys read on in the comments, is if God knew all this evil was going to happen, then why did he let it happen? If he knew there was going to resolve, then, why bother in the first place? Which seems like good logic until you think it through, okay? So if you just appeared, if you just came into existence and you were in hell, and you're like, why am I in hell? Oh, because you would have made bad decisions. That would not be just, because we earn our way to hell. The bad things that we do, we earn our way to death and hell. Like it says, the wages of sin is death and hell, okay? And so if we just woke up and we're like, we didn't do anything, how come we're here? But you would have made bad decisions. And you're like, I don't think I would have, especially knowing what I know now. In fact, basically everybody in the world that's dead, if they could talk to you right now, they'd be like, you need to get right with Jesus. I didn't, I screwed up. You need to get right with Jesus. And the ones that did are like, you need to get right with Jesus because I did, and I'm so glad that I did. Now, let's just take the inverse of that. Okay, so let's say that you just all of a sudden appeared and you're in heaven. You don't appreciate anything, everything's beautiful, but you don't know why you're there, you don't know what you did to get there, and you weren't rescued. And the truth is, we just don't really understand, okay? If a house burns down and somebody comes running in with a fire hose and a oxygen mask, and they're like, I'm here to save you, and a wet blanket, like, I'm here to save you, and you're like, no, I'm good. By the way, this is your fault the place is burning down. He's like, well, really, it's not. I'm the fireman. I'm here to help you out. So I'm here to help you. Let's put this blanket over you. Let's give you some oxygen. Let's get you out of here real quick because you're going to get burned badly. That is the situation that we're in, okay? Regardless of how we made it here, the situation that we're in now is the place is burning down and Jesus is offering us a way out. And so we can take that or not. And we can be ungrateful and we can be difficult. Or we can be like, you know what? Nobody forced me to sin. I did bad things. And Jesus paid the price for my sins. And that is a huge, huge sacrifice. And so I don't know if that fully answers your question, but in my mind, that is enough for me. Okay, that is enough for me that I'm like, I'm not mad at God. This is not his fault. Everything in the world that is bad and we blame God for is a direct result of us disobeying God and doing exactly what he told us not to do, because there was a reason for that. So I'm not angry with God. I'm not angry with other people. We've all made mistakes. We've all sinned willingly, and the world is a mess. And personally, I want to do everything in my power to make it right. Okay, I want to leave that life behind me, and I want to build people up. I want to honor God with my life. I want to obey God. I want to do the things that put a smile on his face and make him happy. And I encourage you to do the same. Have a great night.